Hi, Responsibility 3 leaders. Welcome to our P3 March Holiday Process Skills lesson. Well, today we are going to look into some revision topics, and I'm sure your teachers have already gone through with you on these two chapters on diversity, mainly the diversity of living and non-living things, and also diversity of fungi and plants. So I hope um, today's lesson will be something as a recap of what you have learned so far, and hopefully you have not forgotten any of them. Okay, shall we start now? Here goes. Okay, so this is a diagram, and let's see what kind of question we are going to have. Now it says over here, when the snail is touched and it hides itself in its shell. So this shows that the snail is a living thing, because it can. Is it one, grow? Is it two, breathe? Is it three, respond? Or is it number four, reproduce? Now let's take a look at this diagram. Okay. Now when we are looking at this diagram, we are using the observation skill. So when we observe, that means we use our eyes to see. All right, we find out what's going on over here. So you can see at this point of time, there is a finger touching a snail. And you know that when the snail is being touched, it will hide itself in its shell. Okay, so which of these choices would it be? Now, you remember we mentioned about living things can grow, living things can breathe, living things can respond to changes, and living things can reproduce. Now, all these four choices are talking about characteristics of living things. So, which one is wrong? Now, remember we are looking at this particular picture itself. And since when the snail is touched and it hides itself in its shell, so what is it doing? Do you see it growing? Did the snail grow any bigger? No. So number one is out. Now, if you touch the snail and it hides itself in the shell, does it show that it's breathing? No. Now, how about let's see, I'm left with two choices. Uh, Reproduce. Can snail, in this case, in this picture, started reproducing smaller snails? No. Okay, so what about response? Now, yes, of course, it is correct, because when it is touched, it hides itself in its shell. So it's responding to changes. So, well, if you have been thinking about this answer for a very long time, and answer is 3, you've got it right. The answer is 3. Okay, all right, so are we doing well now? Okay, great. Now let's move on to the next question. Hmm, okay, so we have here 5 pictures. Now, which of the following organisms reproduce from flowering plants? Now, just a quick tip for all, organisms also mean living things. Okay, so whenever you see this word, which organisms, blah blah blah, it's talking about living things. Now let's take a look what this question says. Which of this which of the following organisms reproduce from flowering plants? Okay, so now we are looking at flowering plants. Okay, so now let's take a look. Um, Start with choice A, bird's nest fern. Now, is bird nest fern a flowering plant? Think very carefully. If you say that it is a non-flowering plant, you are correct. Because, check this out. It shows over here that it is reproducing by spores. Okay, so A, is it a flowering plant? Nope. So, too bad, you're out. Okay, now let's move on to this choice B, mushroom. I'm sure some of you like mushrooms a lot, but well, that's not the point. Mushroom. Remember, is mushroom a plant? Think, think. No? Yep, you are right. Fungi is a, sorry, mushroom is a fungi. It's not a plant. So, can this be a flowering plant? Nah, nope. Okay. Now I know you are finding uh, ink is a bit boring. So now let me just change to a next other color. Let's start with red. Okay. Now, so let's see. Guava. Have you guys ever eaten guava? Now, guava is a fruit, right? So if it is a fruit, it must come from seeds. Okay. So if the guava is a fruit, it will have seeds. So how do you have seeds? It must be a flowering plant. Okay. So guava plant is a flowering plant. So yes, C is correct. Now let's just move on to the next one. Rambutans. Ooh, thinking about rambutans makes me really, really miss this fruit. Wait, did I just say fruit? Yep, I said it is a fruit. So if it's a fruit, it will have seeds. Yep, and if there are seeds, it means that rambutan is a flowering plant. Yes. Okay. Now, so does that mean that D is a flowering plant? All right. Yep, it is. Now let's move on to the next one. Mosses. Now, so where is the moss? Okay, mosses are actually here. They are actually very tiny plants that you see that grows on stones or really wet areas. Okay. So now talking about small little plants. So do you think small little plants will grow fruits? Nah. Well, so if you think that mosses are non-flowering plants, you are correct. Mosses are non-flowering plants and they reproduce by spores. Okay, so E is out. Therefore, you are left with choice C and D. So does that give you the answer here? Now where's my stylus pen? Uh-huh. Okay, so A and E is out, C and D is here. So choice number two, you get the choice number two. Yep, you are correct. So well done. If you have been thinking about choice number two all along. Okay, so you can see over here, these are some of the skills that you need to learn whenever you are doing MCQ questions. Now, MCQ questions are much easier to score because you have clues given to you, but it can be also very, very confusing if you don't follow step by steps or if you don't even write down notes for yourself. And what do you see me doing just now? I have actually written notes for myself. So if you continue to do this, it's a habit, and when you do it as a habit, it gets faster. All right. So MCQ questions, don't leave it empty with all the labels and the pictures all looking so clean and nice. Do some notes, write down some notes, cross out certain things that you know that is not right, or even highlight, okay, the keywords, and you'll be able to see and find your answers much faster. All right. Now let's move on. Okay, now, so from this particular question onwards, we are moving on to open-ended question, which is the structured questions, right? So now, you will get to see the next video with this picture again and a few more other questions, all right? So we're just gonna stop here right now, and then for you to think through and read through again if you don't understand MCQ questions, how to use the RIP strategy. Read, identify, and then you perform. That means you start to attempt the questions. Okay, so we'll see you in next second video. Bye.